Welcome to the Amphibian Press podcast. I'm Marissa Frosch, and today I'm talking with New York Times best-selling author Sherrilyn Kenyon about her new book, Stygian. Hi, Sherry. For this to be having
Uh-oh, with the buffering. Oh, the
there
buffering. Yeah, bad buffering. There we go.
Okay, so
Gotta love computer stuff. Yes.
It's always difficult.
We're in the dead zone of my house. Wait a minute.
All right, so...
And my kids aren't even gaming, so there's really no reason for the buffering.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, mine was having issues the other day because it was cloudy, but there's no clouds, so...
Oh, it is here. It's raining, so there's the culprit.
Right there. So hello. How are you?
Pretty good.
Are you excited about this book?
I am. I'm always excited. Yay. It looks amazing, dude. They did a great job. I know. I'm looking at, like, you can see over here. No, they did a great job with the cover and all. Oh, I should have brought one. Dang it. Could run off camera. But I won't do that. Dang it. But yeah, I can see the boxes of them. It's like, over there. We're packing for Comic-Con, so luckily nobody can see what is at my door, waiting for them to come pick them up so they can ship them.
Yeah. Which Comic-Con?
Dragon Con. Well, in New York. So we're packing for both simultaneously.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So for people who are new to the series, is there anything in particular that you think that they should know?
It's fun. A lot of people think that it's very serious and that there's a lot of horror in it, but it's not. I mean, they have been shelved under horror in the past, but it's light. It's kind of, if you think more like Ash in the Army of Darkness, it's kind of more like that. There's a lot of humor in my stuff, so try it if you haven't. I'm never completely serious. Ask my children.
Yeah, I started reading these when I was 14. I started with Dance with the Devil, and that's not the first book, so you can start this series kind of wherever. And the Dark Hunters, it is definitely humorous. I really enjoy them. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the daemons, which are kind of like vampires in your world?
Well, they're a little different from the average vampire. Instead of living to be immortal, they die at 27 due to Apollo's curse. So what they're trying to do is elongate their lives because, it wasn't their fault that Apollo decided, his mistress was killed by the queen of the Atlanteans, and to get back at their entire race, because let's face it, the gods weren't known for being nice. They tend to overreact. And Apollo said, okay, that's it. I'm cursing everybody with a drop of Apollite blood. Nobody's going to live to be a day older than my mistress was. So all of you die at 27 horribly because I can do it because I'll censor myself. And they're like, whoa, wait, that was a little extreme. Wait, not my fault. So yeah, and luckily another goddess took mercy on them. She's like, okay, I don't like him either. He is a little bit of a douche. So here's what you can do. It's a little extreme too, because I'm not nice either. Let's face it, I'm the goddess of destruction. I don't like humanity. So to get back at him, to get back at all of humanity, because they were really mean to my son, you can suck off their souls and kill them and live to be as long as you want to be, as long as you kill their souls. And so yeah, they can live as long as the soul does. Well, the soul will eventually wither and die within them. So yeah, they have to replenish the soul before it dies, and that's how they get their immortality.
So
Yeah.
So how
I do sign language for people who don't know, and so that actually is, never mind. It's a real sign language term, and oh
god. How did you come up with that? Because that's a really cool twist on vampires.
It was one of those things. I was in college, and I had 3 jobs because my parents were poor, and I had the parents say, you're going to go to college. But while they were doing that, they weren't saving anything. So I'm 18, Mom, Dad, I hope you can pay for it. Thank you. And so during the 3 jobs I had at college, one of them I was an editor for a science fiction magazine. And my boss was like, "Hey, Sherry, I got a great idea. We have 5 subscribers." We actually had more. I like to hyperbolize. And he's like, "Wouldn't it be great if we had 10?" I was like, "Yeah." "Wouldn't it be awesome if we could pay for ink?" I'm like, "Mike, wouldn't it be great if you could pay for me?" And it's like, yeah. "Well, why don't you come up with a great serial idea and we can get more subscribers?" I'm like, "Okay, can I write vampires?" "What part of science fiction did you miss on the masthead? Like, what part of Sherry wants to write vampires did you miss?" It's like, "I want science fiction. I want to write vampires and you're not paying me." It's like, "Yeah, but I pay you in love." "But you don't pay me. So I want to write vampires." "Okay, fine, whatever, write what you want." And the minute he agreed, I'm like, "Okay, I have no idea for vampires." Yeah, it seemed like a good idea, but I have no concept. Okay. And I knew I didn't want to do anything that other people did. So I'm like, okay. He agreed to it. What do I write? Well, my other job that I had was for a paper, and we were doing a series. It was Halloween time. So we're writing a whole series of articles on the origins of different kinds of myths and stuff. And I was, brain work, interviewing my college professor. And I was sitting there interviewing. I'm doing the little studious thing going, okay, I'm trying to sound intelligent because I want an A in the class. I'm like, all right. So, Dr. Krebs, let me ask you. I've noticed in my research, because I want to impress you so much, that all my legends are going back to ancient Greece. And so why is it that no one's ever picked on the god Apollo? Because I've noticed that he's the god of plagues and the god of sun. And if you were writing, wait a minute, he's the god of plagues, he's the god of the sun. Wait a minute. And I literally stopped in the middle of the interview and ran out the door. And my brain went, hey, there's the idea. Oh my God. And I went back to the dorm and started writing immediately the whole series, or not the whole series, but the first set of short stories. And then, of course, the next day I'm in class, my professor's like, did we finish that interview? I'm like, no, but I got a great idea for a series. So yeah.
You do have a lot of history in your work. Did you study ancient Greece or anything?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was in the class at the time. So, yeah, I started when I was real little. My grandfather was actually a linguist. And because of his interest, my dad was, of all things, Old West. He was an American historian. And, I got dragged around, the battle sites. Dad, it's so boring. I don't care. My dad, that was his big shtick. And I'm like, oh, God, stick a needle in my eye. Yeah, American history. Well, I do like colonial history, but what my dad was interested in was so not my area. But my granddad, his stuff, the more ancient, the better. He was actually a biblical scholar. So he would, have these huge maps laid out across the table. He's like, okay, let me explain here about the ancient Canaanites. And I'm like, that is so fascinating. And, he'd talk to me in Aramaic, and I'm like, that's so fascinating. And so, yeah, I grew up so steeped in all that. It's like, wow.
Oh, I hear you. There you are.
Hello.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So let's talk about Stygian for a minute, because that's kind of the point.
Okay. Speaking of ancient things.
Right. So you have 2 other characters that are really important to this story, or I don't know how much Ash gets into it. I'm sure he does, but
oh yeah.
So we have Acheron, or Ash, and his book is his name, and then we have Styx, who's the same, and then we get this one, which is Styx's son. But Urian doesn't know that.
Might be a little spoiler for people who, yeah.
Well, I can cut that out if you want.
Oh, no, that's fine. I know there are people out there, what? Wait, I missed the book. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
At the beginning, Urian doesn't know now.
Yeah,
he knows it now.
Yes. I love, Oh, I guess I won't talk about that yet.
I know. This is the problem I have because I'm like 2 books ahead. It's like, do they know? And where was I a few weeks? Was it weeks or months? I don't know. I have time dysplasia, but I was somewhere and I let slip a big nugget, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't do that. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Oops.
Yeah, yeah, it was not pretty. Like crap. I hate when I do that.
All right. So just to bring people into it, Ash and Styx are they're 11,000 years old, and they're twins. They're twin brothers, but really Ash is the son of the Atlantean goddess that saved the Apollites, Apollo's people that he turned into the vampires. So, was that a good summary, you think?
That'll work. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so tell us a little bit about what happens in this story.
Without a spoiler. Okay.
Make it intriguing, but don't give anything away.
I know. This is what got me in trouble the last time. I'm like, okay, I don't drop that bomb again. What I did in this one is I've done some of this stuff with the Apollites in the past. Stryker's book, which was One Silent Night, and The Guardian. So I have done books where we took the villains and we told things from their side. But this is the first time where I've really gone back to the very beginning. So what you get to see in this one that I've never shown before is what it's like to be an Apollite and to wait. You're normal, and then you wake up and it's like suddenly I can't eat food. I can't go into daylight. Everything is, and you really, as the reader, you experience that moment of complete transition. And you get to see Urian as a kid who has never seen daylight, and what their world, the depth of their world, the depth of the curse, and what it is to walk through centuries where everybody around you, just they die constantly. And the thing, though, that is really unique with Urian is, unlike Ash and Styx, he's not a tragic character. I mean, this is somebody, with Ash and Styx, they were very tragic. They were unwanted. They grew up under fire. But Urian was beloved, and more so than probably any character I had, not only by Stryker and by his Helena, the mother who raised him, but by Styx. He's beloved by Ash. I mean, he's a beloved character. He's charming, he's witty, but he also is steeped in such tragedy. So he does have a support system unlike anybody else, but he also has a lot of betrayals in his life. So you get to see that he is a unique little character, and it's just, I love him.
Yeah, I was pretty excited when I heard that you were writing his story too, because when you released Stryker's book, when I first picked it up, I thought, how is she going to do this? Because he's the bad guy in quite a few books before that, like really bad. And I'm like, how is she going to make me like him? But you did. Like, that's probably one of my favorite books. So
thank you.
I was really excited about this one, and because the beginning of Ash and Styx's book are hard to read, because it is so, they go through so much right in the early years, and having kids, it's really hard to even get through that. So this book, I've gotten to read the sneak peek or whatever, and it's a lot easier to get into. I mean, he is lonely, but he's not being abused constantly. So and I did really like how you showed Stryker going through the change, and then like helping his children go through the change, because that's when Apollo curses them. They go through this, and Helena was pregnant with Urian and his brother Paris. So that was a really unique thing to see, and to really see the side of Apollites and Daemons that's normal. Like, you would go through the same thing, and could you really expect to make a different choice?
Right. Yeah, it is. And, and you actually get to see them make the choice, because not all Apollites go Daemon. Some of them choose not to. And you get to see those, do I go, don't I? And Urian goes to do that. Am I going to convert or not? And it's a very poignant decision for them, because, the cost is dear. yeah, do I kill somebody so I can live?
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to mean to me? Because the risk of going Damon is your sanity, and not everybody can do it. It sounds, on the one hand, it's like, and that you have, especially with his brothers, the one brother who, well, that's a spoiler, never mind. But it's like, yeah, it's a hard decision. I mean, they don't make it lightly. It's not, well, humanity. Even for Stryker, it wasn't an easy decision. So you do get to see, they're not all evil.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Lost your video. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. There it is. Sorry. Weird things happen. My house is chaos.
So let's talk about the Atlanteans and the Atlantean goddess Apollonie for a minute. Because that way she's the one who taught them that they could take souls from people. Did she teach them, or did she make it so they could? Do we not know?
No, I know. I'm thinking, is that a spoiler? Do I want to tell this? Is it a spoiler? She teaches them. I guess it's not a spoiler. She teaches them how.
Okay. So she kind of takes.
She shows them the loophole.
And yes.
Yeah. Well, she shows the loophole. So.
So.
I know it's so hard. It's like I'm trying to remember. Have I told them in? I've hinted at it in previous books. To me, things are real obvious, and then fans go, "I didn't know that." I'm like, but it's in the books if you read them. And then they go, "No, it's not." I'm like, it is. If you look under the right, to me, it's obvious.
Well, like some of the books, because some of them I've read a couple of times, and like Dance with the Devil, because that was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like every time I read it, I learned something new about Ash.
Right.
So, I mean, I can see how people maybe missed stuff, but it is there. You just have to.
Yeah. Right. And to me, I think I sledgehammer stuff, and then I'm constantly surprised with like, now I see it, and I'm like, I thought I just pretty much hammered that home, but yeah.
So Apollonie is the Atlantean goddess of destruction, chaos,
Mm-hmm.
chaos and destruction.
Well, chaos is actually a different goddess.
But. Okay, you see, I got mixed up. Sorry.
That's what.
So let's talk about her for a minute. Where did the inspiration for her come from?
They are there. It's weird. They're kind of, they pop into my head at different times. With her, when I was doing the short stories, it was just a natural progression. When I set up the original storylines, I wanted a fierce, to me, when you're looking at, when I was laying out the pantheons, the most brutal thing in the world to me is always going to be a mother protecting her young. Mm-hmm. So you see that theme pretty much carries through all my series and all my stories, because really and probably because my mother, my grandmother, but just in nature, to me, there is no more dangerous a force. You never want to get between a mother and her young. And so, when I was laying out the original foundations of stories, it's just, if you're going to have, and to me, I really, like I said, it's hard to villains are heroes who go one step further, to achieve a hero will only go so far in their pursuit of a goal. I won't kill for it. I won't, well, sometimes they will, but they have limits to what they'll do for their goals. Villains don't. Yeah. It's all or nothing. So to me, a villain really is just a hero one step further. Mm-hmm. So in the case of Apollonie, it's like, my morality is questionable on my best day. So yeah, that her inspiration is just, I will protect my kid. The rest of you are nothing. So basically, she's a mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's probably one of my favorite characters too. Like every time I got to have little bits and pieces of her story in the older books, it was like a little prize. And seeing the pieces that are at the beginning of Styx and Stygian were it's like more, you get more pieces of the Apollo puzzle. So that's exciting.
Right. Well, and that's what she's creation and destruction. Because to me, that is motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're creatures of creation, but you get near our children, we will destroy you. That is a mom. A mom will do anything for her kids.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of villains, so I mentioned that I read Stryker's book, and you did make me.
Whoa,
There you
that's
are.
loud.
Sorry. All right.
That was loud.
So let's get back to I was going to talk about villains, but we never really talked about what Dark Hunters are, and it's the Dark Hunter series.
Okay.
So maybe we should cover that real quick. So we know that Apollo created the daemons, and when he cursed his people, the Apollites. So how were the Dark Hunters created?
How are they created? Well, okay. You have to have that active. Well, back up. Putting the cart before the horse. First, you have to die horribly. Usually in an act of betrayal that is so foul that your soul will scream out for a cry of vengeance. When the goddess are, and it's so bad that it kind of rings through the halls of Olympus. And when Artemis hears it, she'll come out and go, "Hey, wait a minute, what's that?" And then she'll run and offer a bargain to them. And they agree to it. They have 24 hours to exact their vengeance, and then they join her army. They can go and basically kill whoever did them wrong. Then they sell their soul to her, and then they're in her army, and they spend eternity killing the demons for her. Ish. There's a little bit more to it than that. That's a good summary.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's good. So I just wanted to cover that because it is the Dark Hunter series. So you write villains really, really well. And since Styx is already out, I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about, because you have Stryker, who was a really good villain, and then you wrote his book, and then suddenly he's like, a favorite character, and that's really interesting in and of itself that you were able to like flip that. But then we have characters like Estes, who I hated more than Joffrey on Game of Thrones. So I just wondered what your process is when you're writing a villain, when you're creating a villain, and what went into Estes in particular.
Well, I mean, he's disgusting. So each character's they are what they are. They're their own unique person. So when they come onto the page, I don't always. I mean, they develop as well, some of them come in like Thorn came in fully formed and was his own entity. Other ones, take form over a series of books. Estes was disgusting and repugnant from the moment he entered the scene. So, some are surprising. So it depends on the character. Like Gede Naibo in Dead Man's Cross was originally was supposed to have a walk-on role, and he ended up. Every time he comes in, it's like, and then he ended up being the third book, the hero. So I originally just wanted him to have a walk-on role in one book, and he really became a force of nature. So each character is kind of unique, just like in real life. You never know. You may meet somebody in passing, and they come and be a big part of your life one day. Say.
Awesome. Sorry, I was thinking about characters and I kind of got lost in my own thought process.
Oh, it's okay.
So do you have a favorite character?
No, that's like asking my favorite child. I like them all.
had to ask. Because yeah, I kind of like this series in particular. It's really easy to just fall in love with each character as you read their book.
Thank you.
So like I highly recommend people, like, yes, you can start with Stygian and definitely like go out and buy it. But go back to the beginning too, because there's so many rich characters in there, and I love them. So
Thank you.
yeah. All right, so who's the main villain in Stygian?
Well, Apollo.
It is Apollo.
And well, to a degree, but I also have Helios. He makes a big. I've used him peripherally. I have trouble with certain words. That's one of them. In a couple of books in the past, but not too much. He makes a bigger appearance in this one. But yeah, Apollo. I have to pick on Apollo.
It's time.
I know. He made such a great one. And it's funny because going into it, I really thought it was going to be Kassar, but he got pushed to the next book. Yeah, I know. It's funny how it's like, dang it, I had plans. Y'all messed with my plans again. Darn you characters for having a life of your own. Kind of like my kids. I had plans for you, boy.
That's like my favorite.
I wanted to. Yeah, right?
You know, when they surprise you.
Yeah. You're supposed to be in med school. Why are you in art school? What happened?
Yeah, that's pretty different ends of the spectrum.
They mock me.
Yeah, my dad wasn't too happy when I wanted to go to art school either.
Yeah, I know, right? My dad, honey, repeat after me. Y'all want fries with it.
Yeah, my dad goes, so are you gonna have room for a pet in your cardboard box? Or I'm like, I'm not gonna live in a cardboard box, it'll be fine.
I know, right? My dad totally didn't get it. It's like, oh my god.
The funny thing is, when I told him I was gonna be when I wanted to be an author, he was like, oh, that's great, do that. And I'm like, really? Are you sure you don't want to you don't want to pick at me?
Oh no, my dad was so bad with that. He's like, if you bought lottery tickets, you might win sometimes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Parents.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are Ash, Styx, and Stygian are really big books. Or is Stygian still really big? I didn't actually check the page count.
It is, but they shrink the printing and the margin, so it looks small, but it isn't.
Okay.
It is the size of Ash.
Okay.
And the pages are thin. So when you look at it, fans, don't freak. I promise it is every bit as big. But it looks smaller because the pages are thinner and the margins are smaller. But yeah, no, when it first came in, I went, this is gonna be ugly. They're gonna look at it and go, what'd they do? Nothing was cut.
Yeah, you can't do that to us. We're used to this now.
I know. It's like, no, don't do this, don't. But yeah, it's still hefty. But yeah, it looked. But I'm like, don't shrink the margins. It's a printer's trick. Don't do that to the fans.
Yeah. So I noticed in the beginning of Styx, you have a little note to readers about taking liberties with history and Atlantis, and I thought that was really cool. I like the way that you went about it, where Atlantis, like the reason that it fell, like you have the reason that it fell in your stories. I really like that. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
Well, I mean, which part of it? I mean, as a writer,
I guess start with the whole Apollomy is a mother bear, and what happened to, like, why she did it, I guess.
What sank? You mean with the her sinking?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I mean, when you're looking at things like Atlantis and the whole concept of Atlantis, one of the big debates is, was it a real island? Was it a parable? And so historically speaking, we don't really know anyway. I mean, you've got every you ever want to get confused, put three the old adage is if you put three historians in a room to argue, you'll get 10 different stories of what happened on any historical event. So in the case of this, what I did with Ptolemy was, instead of doing the typical Plato or the Egyptian myths of the Isle of Atlantis, what I did is I based it around the theory that Ptolemy sank the island. And even in the lore of Dark Hunter, I played around with different ones, because if you ask Apollo's like, I did it, I'm badass, or because, and that's just natural, I won the game when we won that football game. It was all me. Nah, it was me. I did it. So, to me, that's reality. But yeah, when I was playing around with history, that I wanted my reason for why Atlantis sank. So yeah, to make the story work, and just if you're gonna have Atlantis, make it yours, because we don't know if it was real or not. So. Mm-hmm. We don't know where it really was. I mean, you've got was it up in the British Isles? Was it down? Was it in the Mediterranean? Was it out past the Mediterranean? We're trying to figure this out. Could be in the West Indies. We don't know.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed your take on it, and I liked the idea of a mother being so angry at something happening to her child that she sank an entire island or continent. I really liked that.
I know I would. Yeah. Ask my children. It's like, no, don't cross my mother. I got banned from campus when my child was little.
Ooh.
Yeah. Don't mess with a kid. I love my children. I'm very protective.
As you should.
My children are grateful. Yeah, I know. My children are very grateful. They're like, yeah. I'm nuclear mom. That's what they call me.
That's quite a title.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, oh no, it was, when my son was 14, he was in a car wreck. As one of those, okay, look, he's okay. Do you see? Turn around for your mother, front, back, he's okay. I'm like, what? I'm writing, I'm like, what? He was in a car wreck. Are you okay? Are you okay? It's like, what did I just tell you? The kid is fine. Yes, but rational reason has no place here right now. My child was in danger for a moment.
Yeah. That's I always do that with my mom too. I start with, I'm fine, but this is what happened.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, the other day I was giving her big news and I was like, call me when you can. I'm really excited. P.S. I'm not pregnant, because that was where she was going to go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my son lives in Japan, so he went home, 2 days ago, and I watched the plane the whole way there. And, he's like, why? Mom, I'm grown. I'm like, I don't care. In the event anything happens, I want to know right where that plane is. Yeah. I don't sleep the whole trip. I got to make sure I know where you are. It's like, oh, Mom, you're ridiculous. Like, yes, I know, but I got to make sure you're okay. The minute he lands, I'm like, okay, you're on the ground. Thank God. Your luggage is at this carousel. Mom, okay. Fine, whatever.
All right, so I guess, where can people find you online?
I'm usually hanging around Facebook or SherrilynKenyon.com.
And oh my gosh.
Oh, I have Instagram too. Wait a minute. I'm on Instagram. I got lots of places I hang out online. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I'll put all the links in the show notes for people. So Stygian comes out on Tuesday.
Yes, and we have the launch party in Atlanta. Yes, oh my God, yeah, in like 48 hours. Well, what day is today? Friday. A little more than 48 hours. And then we have the launch party in Atlanta. We're gonna have an awesome time.
So the 28th.
Oh my God, we got Dark Hunters coming to the party. We got Adam Ezra playing. It's gonna be amazing.
You have Dark Hunters coming to the party?
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh no. You're so excited that it cut your internet out.
I know, right? I have a ghost in my house. No lie. The weirdest things happen in my house. No, really. Weird things happen in my house.
I just did a whole interview with this Strange Life podcast about the house that I lived in before this one and all the stuff that happened there. It's not a fun experience.
No, weird. No, I've got a friend staying over, and she's like, no, I'm beginning to think, I thought you were kind of, she's like, but no, you're right. Weird things happen in your house. I told you. Like, she did laundry yesterday, and it was a beach towel appeared. She's like, this was not in my laundry. How did I've been downstairs. I was writing. She's like, we're the only two in the house. My other son's at a convention this weekend. She's like, this was not in my laundry. You have not moved out of your chair. And it's my son's giant Game Boy beach towel. Ah! I told you.
Oh, that's fun.
Weirdness. She's like, the cat did. I'm like, I guess, because I haven't moved.
Yeah, I get
really?
That makes you feel better.
Yeah. I know. The monitors will come off and on. We have all kinds of, it is. It's like, it's weird. My house is weird. Somebody did die in the house, so it is like, just saying.
So goodness, my brain is like overloaded. So Stygian comes out on Tuesday, which will be tomorrow. We're putting this out on Monday, so people who are listening, that'll be tomorrow. And I highly encourage that you go and pick up a Dark Hunter book because they're good. And I'll have
thank you.
I'll have the links in the bottom. So thank you so much for talking with me today. And
thank you so much.
And good luck with your launch.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it.
All right.